This is a short demo on how to use the tool Quizlet. Quizlet is a fantastic tool if you have a course that has no textbook and you want to create some study sets for your students to use. They can use it online or you can use it live in class. Quizlet is also fantastic if you have a course that does have a textbook but is fairly heavy with terms and definitions. So once you've created an account, you would of course just log in. If you think you're only going to use Quizlet for 1 or 2 sets, then you might just click on Create at the top and just create a couple of sets. If you think instead that you're going to use Quizlet fairly comprehensively for a particular course, then you might want to create a folder. So you would create a folder down here, and you can create or add multiple sets to that folder. So I'm going to start off just with a demo, imagining that I was creating a folder and a set for my psych class. So I would want to start off with adding a set, and as you can see, all my existing sets appear, so I can add any of these to this folder, or I can create a new set, which again, I'm just going to demo here. So I might title it Psych Test 3 Review. Once I've got my title, I'm going to start entering terms and definitions. Of course, you would be entering actual terms and definitions. I'm just doing this for a demo. Quizlet will prompt you to choose a language. This should only happen one time for a single set, but you won't be able to save the set and move on until you have selected a language. So again, you would enter term and definition. You want to make sure that you're clear with the definition, and you'll see when I show you how the sets are used in practice, why that's important. And you would continue creating terms and definitions for as many as you feel fit for a given study set or study review. As you can see, it gives you 5 cards initially, but you can always click add a card to add more. I'm not sure if there's a maximum. I have had sets with up to 26 or 27 cards, so it gives you a pretty decent amount of cards, but again, I'm not sure if there's a maximum. So that's how you would create your set. When you're done, you would click over here, create. Now I'm going to go and show you an existing set that I have so that you can see how it appears for students and how you might use it in your course as well as online. So I created a test 2 review for my psych class. When you first click on it, it's going to come up in flashcard format. You can also click it to be full screen, which students might prefer. And it can come up in definition format, and the students have to read the definition and guess the term. As you can see, it reads it out for you. You want to click card to see the term, and it will flip over. You can also shuffle the deck to create different options, and then when you're ready, you move on to the next card. And again, you click on the card. And then when you click on the card, it'll show the term, and so forth. So that's if you're using flashcards, which again is a really great study tool that students might choose to use. You can also have it in the format where the term comes up first and students have to think about the definition and then click to get the definition and so forth. So flashcards can be used in reverse or standard format. Another way that students might use it is in Learn format. And this is like multiple choice. So again, really great. It'll give you an explanation, which would be one of your definitions at the top here. And then students have to click on what they think is the correct answer. I'm going to click an incorrect answer so that you can see how Quizlet even prompts them with going back to their review to learn a little bit more. It'll tell them what the correct answer is. It'll tell them what they said, and what they said goes with a different definition. Okay, and then again, questions will continue, and hopefully students will be able to learn through this format and click on some of the correct answers. Okay, so that was flashcard, that was Learn. I haven't myself used the write or spell because it hasn't been as relevant to my courses, but those are options you can click on if they are relevant to your courses, I do want to show you the test format because Quizlet is pretty intuitive in how they gather some of the terms and definitions that you've entered, and they organize it within these sections. So here they'll start off with 5 written questions, then they have 5 matching questions. So you can see they've done pretty well with matching some of the terms and definitions in this section. And then they even have 5 multiple choice questions. The only potential drawback or flaw from using the test format is with regards to the written questions. If students type an answer that isn't typed exactly how you have inputted it, then it might come up as wrong when it's in fact right. So spelling and that sort of thing does matter when they're doing the written questions. But otherwise, it's still a really good way of students practicing with the content that you've provided. Another great thing about Quizlet is it kind of engage with game format. So I've made use of match before, not as much gravity, but again, it's an option you can check out. So match format, when students are using this at home on their own, it comes up kind of like a game format. They're timed over here on the side. It'll track their best time. And so basically what students do is they're supposed to take the term and drag it until they get the right definition. And when they do get the right definition, then it disappears. And again, it's timing them on the side, so it's kind of motivating them to really speed up with their skill and practice. Okay, so again, that's the match game to kind of make it fun and interactive for students. So we've shown flashcards, learn, test format, match format. Gravity is another game students can play on their own. And then there's also the live format. Now, Quizlet won't let me click on the live format to demonstrate it because I don't have an actual class of students with me right now. But I really do encourage, if you have face-to-face classes, that you consider using the live format if you're doing in-class test reviews or quiz reviews or just practice with terms and definitions. And if you think you're going to use the live version, then Quizlet has some really great videos on YouTube that you can look at to see how it works before you use it with your students. The last thing I'd like to show before we wrap up is the share function, which is pretty straightforward and simple. But once you've created your set and you feel ready to share it with your students, especially if you're posting for independent study or review online before, let's say, a test or exam, then you just click on the share function and it easily allows you to copy the link, which you can then post for your students. One added tip that I might recommend is that if you've created a set, you might want to practice on your own first, just to see which formats of the Quizlet options work best with the set you've created. And then when you post the link for your students to use, you can also add a little note saying, I recommend you use this set in flashcard format, test format, and or match format, so that students aren't getting frustrated with trying maybe the learn or the write or the spell format that doesn't really apply for the set that you've created. Hopefully that's been helpful, and hopefully you can find some ways to use Quizlet with your class. Thanks for listening.